Okay, yes. So I'm really thankful for this group because I just got a job, not as a Scrum Master, but as a project manager. So yes, I'm thankful for this group. I was really helped with the interview prep and all of that. So thanks everybody. So today we'll be doing the Scrum interview, and basically I myself will be focusing more on behavioral questions, right? Because these questions come up a lot. I'll be having sorry, I'm trying to mute this. So this section, I'll be having it with Angela. I would introduce myself. Angela would introduce herself before we start. So my name is Chinwe. I work as a project manager in a fintech organization. And I do more of implementation project management, right? So we do waterfall and agile as well. Today, we'll just be talking about the interview prep. And yeah, Angela, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I can introduce myself.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Angela, like she said. I'm actually not a working Scrum Master. So this is, even though I'm facilitating this, it's going to help me also with my interview process. But I'm currently a phlebotomist. I just recently switched over into IT after graduating college. So I'm just, after taking the course, I'm just trying to prepare myself to do these interviews and apply to jobs because I want to be 99.9% ready, 100% by the time, it's ready for me to do the interview. But it's nice meeting everyone.
Okay, thank you, Angela. So before we start, we said we're going to do the icebreaker. So just, get everybody ready for the questions we're going to ask. So for the icebreaker, I think I should start. I don't know how it works for icebreakers, but yeah, I'll just read the way I understand, then you guys can correct me. So I'll tell you 2 truths and a lie. Then I think we'll go around. Then someone has to tell me what the truth is and what the lie is. So 2 truths, I have a child, I use a red car, I'm a doctoral researcher. So 2 truths, I have a child, I use a red car, and the lie. So just let me know which is the truth and which is the lie.
You don't use a red car.
I think the lie is the research.
The doctoral researcher is a lie, yeah.
The doctor research is a lie. She has a child and a red car.
Who else?
No child, no child. Like, okay, wait. Okay, no, the red car is the lie. Yeah, that's my final answer.
Final answer?
Yes.
I think
does anyone else want to try?
A red car is a lie.
You have a red car and a child. You are not a doctoral researcher.
But why do you guys think I'm not a doctoral researcher?
Why
can't she be a doctoral person?
No, that is not how they call it.
No, but that's
That
the
is
point
not
of
the name
the
they call it.
game.
What do they call it? Sorry.
So that's where you threw yourself under the bus, I guess.
What did they call it? That's what the name they call it. What do they call it?
Candidate. A doctoral candidate. Or you just say
doesn't matter.
A
candidate, it can be a researcher and not be a candidate.
No, they normally call it research assistant. It's
not research assistant. You work as a research assistant, like you're working in school. Anyways, let me give you guys my response. I think I'm a doctoral researcher. I'm a PhD candidate as well. I'm a doctoral researcher. I don't have a child, and I don't have a red car.
I knew it.
You
said it.
Wait, you said
I knew it. I knew
So you don't have a child.
Wait, you are a PhD candidate, and and then you are calling it a doctoral researcher. I don't know.
Yes, because
I'm a doctoral researcher. That's what I do.
All you do is research.
All I do is research. The PhD candidate is the candidacy when you write the exam, the qualifying exam, of which you can be ABD. Once, if you want to leave, you can leave now and not finish up, right? So.
Wait, sorry, I have a question. Which one was the lie?
The lie was I don't have a car. I don't have a red car. I don't have a child.
Is that your child behind you? I see somebody waving.
That's what I said, though. That's what I said. Never
That's
mind.
why I'm
Oh my
confused.
God.
I'm
That's what I
confused
said. Never
with the
mind.
icebreaker.
Mommy, no, that's my mom.
I'm confused with the icebreaker. Wait, I'm
That's my
confused. I
mom.
thought you said 2 truths and a lie.
Yes, so
Then
yeah,
you're
yes,
in,
and
then you
one
are giving
lie.
birth
Yeah.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's what I'm
negative.
saying. But if you don't have a car and you don't have a child,
So I
then
gave
that's
2
2
lies.
lies.
Oh, I'm sorry. You see,
So
I
Oh, I
don't
thought
get.
you
yeah.
said you only don't have. Yeah, it's only supposed to be 2 truths. And a
Yeah,
lie.
yeah. Anyways, Angela, do you want to go? Because we have like 10 minutes for this.
Yeah, I can. Let me think. Sorry. Okay, I can go. I was born in Nigeria. I'm graduating from college on Friday, and I have a Benz.
Okay, the Benz. I'm rolling out the Benz.
Wait, why can't I have a
The
Benz?
Benz,
Why
though.
can't she drive a Benz?
Why can't I have a Benz?
No, she can drive a
Benz.
Benz.
What's she?
No, she can drive a Benz, but
Not a Benz.
I don't just have the
She
feeling
was
that
not
she
born in
has it.
Nigeria.
No, wait. She
I think
already
she was born in
graduated college.
Nigeria. I think she was born in Nigeria.
She
It's the
already
Benzo.
graduated.
I think it's her graduation. It's a lie. The graduation
But
date.
she said she
Okay.
just finished from college, right? So that might be true. Her
Yeah,
graduation might be
I
this
think so
Friday.
too.
I don't know. All right, is there
I think she
She
doesn't
was
have a
not born
Benz.
in Nigeria.
They don't
Ladies
think
don't
you
like
have a
driving Benz. It's guys that like
Says who?
driving Benz.
Says who?
Who
What
says
do you
who?
mean?
Who is the person that
What
says
do
that?
you mean?
Okay.
What
Who
do you
doesn't
mean?
like better things?
She doesn't have a Benz.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't.
Yeah, she just dropped
But
some
by the grace of God, I'll have a Benz when
Oh,
I
yeah,
get to
it's
Scrum
my
Master.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
I said
You
it.
don't worry, you will.
I was born in Nigeria and I graduate on Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
University of Texas.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
What
Does
did you
anybody
study?
want, last person, anybody want to go?
Yeah, who wants to go?
Okay, I can go.
Okay.
All right. So, my name is Ramsey. I'm gonna say, are we saying 2 lies? and
Nothing
1
got
truth?
it. Nothing got it.
It
No,
doesn't
2
matter. Just
truths and a lie, but we
Okay.
won't
Yeah,
know.
but they can hear me.
You'll say
Okay.
3 statements
Lost. They
and
can
we'll
hear me.
know which one is the
Okay.
truth. And
All right. Number 1, I am a nurse practitioner. 2, I am a pilot also. 3, I'm doing a graduate certificate in management information system.
Hoover.
You're not a pilot.
Pilot is a
You're
lie.
not a pilot.
You're not a pilot.
You're not a pilot.
You're not a pilot.
You are not a pilot.
Only using
Mhm.
all
You are
these
not
things.
a nurse practitioner, but you are a graduate of information.
No, it's supposed to be 2.
No, it's 1 lie.
No,
Just
but
one
wait,
lie.
what if he just has the pilot certification? I mean, what's that thing they usually have and he's
Then
not
what is he doing, Aja?
He might not be
What is he doing as a
practicing. He
nurse
might not be
practitioner?
practicing though.
No, he
I
wants
don't
to
think
be.
you're a nurse practitioner.
It's
I don't
He
not
wants
because
to involve
I don't think it's
agile
pilot.
and pilotician.
they are always tired and because they work their butts out. I have a neighbor who is a nurse, he's always tired.
Hi guys. Hi.
Okay. All right.
I am my mom's son.
Aww, that's so cute.
Mhm.
What's your name, mom, son?
All right. Okay, that
Okay.
was fun. So,
So who's
Chinwe, I
going
guess you
to
can
go?
go.
Okay, I think we should just start so we
Yeah, we
don't
can go
waste
ahead and
much
He has
start.
not given us the answer.
Okay,
Oh,
the
do
answer
not?
is, the answer is I'm a nurse practitioner.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not a pilot. I'm
Okay.
also doing management information system. All right.
That.
You're doing a lot. Good job.
I'm not sounding
Guys,
tired. You're a nurse practitioner.
sorry.
Yeah, I
Please,
work at
whoever's
urgent care.
recording,
It's not bad for
Oh,
I
you.
hope you can.
okay, all right. Okay.
Sorry? All right,
I'm
let's
saying
get
that whoever's
started.
recording, please can you share the recording after the class?
It
It'll
will
be
be,
posted
yeah,
on
it will be.
YouTube later on.
All right,
What did you
let's get
say,
started.
Victoria?
Okay. So I want us to go this way. We'll use the star format. I just want us to talk like when like we're having an interview, right? Because I feel like that's the best way to practice. So we'll go with the STAR format, situation, task, action, and result for this. Then Angela has her own question she's going to ask. And please, just like Vicky said, if you want to answer, you have to make use of the hand button to signify that you want to answer. You know, that way it can be orderly. So let's go. My first question would be, how do you prioritize your workload as a Scrum Master? So who wants to go? Your hands, please. Okay, well, if I'm gonna count for some seconds, and if no one raises their hand, hold on. 3 people are raising their hands.
VJ was first, if I believe.
Okay, VJ, can you go?
I will go last.
Okay.
Okay. Innocent, can you go?
Hi, thank you for having me. Prioritizing my workload will have to do with the organizational goal and the goal that is set for the team. If I were working on an application or a project that time to market is of essence, we have to prioritize what to get to the customers on time, and then how fast they can get those things on time. So timing will be our the way we will prioritize our the workload. If functionality and customer satisfaction is what is the goal of the project we're working on, so we have to prioritize the functional requirement that can get to the customer, what the customer can what we can deliver to the customer that the customer can be using as we go ahead, improving and bringing more functionality to the project we are working on. And that is how I will prioritize the workload of my project. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that try. Oru Inky, please.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So I'm just gonna try. The way I will answer that question first, it will be I will use the Moscow technique. The Moscow technique, the must have, should have. That's how I will prioritize my backlog. I will just keep it that short, and then I will define what Moscow is, which is must have, should have, and I forgot the rest. But that's how I answer the question.
Yeah, good have.
Okay, thank you for that try. Femi.
Hello, thank you for the question.
You lost him, I guess.
No, I think he just muted himself.
Yeah, Femi, yeah.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much for the question. As a Scrum Master, one of the most important role is making sure value is being delivered at every iterations. So of course, prioritization I see to be one of the most valuable skill, which I do work with my product owner to make sure we have we can deliver value at every sprint. I do this during the sprint, and also I do have a one-on-one meeting with sometimes my business analyst together with my product owner to make sure whatever we're working on, it's going to satisfy the stakeholders at the end of the day. So when it comes to prioritization, I do train my product owner. Sometimes we do use the Moscow technique. For the last place I was working, we had a business analyst, which made things easier because I was able to work with the product owner and the business analyst to make sure what the stakeholders want was what we were always working on. So as I said, sometimes we do use the Moscow technique, and I also train them to use I train the business owner the business analyst to use the planning, the poker money to also do this. So by giving the stakeholders maybe like $100, and they will decide what future they think is the most important they would like to put their money on. That way they're able to get the priority of the futures right before bringing it down to the developers. And that's how I do support my team in prioritization. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback. Clem C.
Okay. I don't know. I'm going to try and figure out how to put it on staff format, but prioritization of workload will be based return on investment. Also, I look for low-hanging fruits, easy projects that we can knock out real quick that can deliver value to the company. Also, use the Moscow model as well. Now, to put it in staff format, I can just make up a story right now. So.
Fine. That's fine. Okay, thank you. Valerie?
Yes, okay, the way I will prioritize my workload is I'll first of all meet with my product owner, since he is the one who gathers the requirement and actually know what the stakeholder needs at the moment. So when I meet with my product owner, I'll ask him what the stakeholder will need during the current sprint or the upcoming sprint. So by so doing, I'll sit with him and we'll go through the backlog and we'll try to refine the stories based on the value that it will bring to the end user. So based on the value that will bring to the end user, and we'll try to place the most valuable story points at the top. So when we have our sprint planning, that is where my team will start from the most important stories. And also, I'll use a Moscow technique, which is the must have, they should have, they won't have. So I'll ask the product owner, which are the story that we must deliver during the sprint. And by so doing, I can prioritize my workload based on that. So everything comes from the product owner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that feedback, Valerie. Yemi, you're next.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
I'm going to keep this very simple. What I want to say is close to what the last speaker said. The best way I feel to prioritize my workload as a Scrum Master, I'm new to Scrum, like I said. Most importantly, I embrace a system approach to Scrum prioritization for it to work. The teams have to share responsibility of figuring out high priority items that need to be prioritized, maybe from the highest priority to the lowest priority within the sprint cadence. So I would also let the product owner take the lead in the sprint. So basically, that's how I feel it could be handled.
Thank you for that feedback. Vijay, I want you to go I want you to go last. So let Chanel go first before you, please.
Hello, everyone. So first, this question to me is a little ambiguous and vague. So first, I will ask for clarification on the question. And if I don't ask for clarification on a question, I'm going to state how I'm going to answer it. So in terms of this question, I'm going to answer it in how I prioritize my day. So I prioritize my day in terms of what I didn't accomplish the day before. So every day when I come in, I make a to-do list up and I prioritize my to-do list. So my to-do list is prioritized according to the tasks that I didn't accomplish yesterday. If those tasks are important, I'll carry them on till today and I'll prioritize them. So again, I prioritize my day according to what event is happening that day and what priorities are occurring that day. So I check my email to see what has come in since I've clocked out the previous day. So I prioritize my day according to, again, the day of the week that we're in. If it's sprint planning, if it's sprint retrospective, I prioritize it according to that. And then I check with what I didn't accomplish the previous day. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback. Vijay, you can go now.
Okay. Recently on my project, business owners and product owners bombarded with all the high priority tasks, and I wasn't sure what to do next. I started working on those priorities with the business owners and product owners. Then I realized that there should be a priorities needed in order to execute that work. Then I started working. I took the first activity as work with the business owner to prioritize all the high priority items which are due for next 3 months. And similarly, I work with the product owners, which are the high priority items which they need to deliver in next 3 months. Then once I have the clarity on what the both business owners and product owners have it in their bucket, then I organized both one meeting where both product owners and business owners are together in order to discuss what best they can come out with the one final list of the priorities which matches to our current burn down velocity, so that we can take only those priority items in the next upcoming sprint. So with that, when I arranged those scheduled meetings with both stakeholders, it was very clear from both the perspective on the business owners and product owners in order to what they want to execute in next 3 months. And also they understood the kind of awareness, what kind of agile environment we are working on, and what is the team capacity in order to execute that project. So that's how I prioritize the work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vijay. Ramso.
Okay, yeah. My name is Ramsey. So actually,
okay.
yeah, Ramsey, R-A-M-S-E-Y. So basically, so in Agile, so the work is made such that it has to be broken down. So this is how it is managed. From the first conception of the idea of a product, where the product owner and the business analysts meet with the stakeholders to get all the detail of requirement about the product and built into a product backlog. So after that, so there's at the conception of that project. So as a Scrum Master, that's where I come in once the product owner gathers the requirements to work with him to see what the product they want to build and what the requirements are, and understanding the priorities, breaking them into stories that are basically put in the backlog. And then the other aspect will go to maybe the sprint, where you break those work down into sprint and sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, and you begin to have a goal for that particular sprint, where you work with your development team to pick up the work that they will be able to do during the sprint based on priority and the ability. So that is how work is broken down. So you deliver in iteration or sprints depending on environment. So that is how it is done, and you keep track to keep locked to see that the work is being done, and allow time for interruption, allow time for restructure, or if that is needed, just to get the work to set to a realistic goal. Basically that's how I see it, because it's agile environment and you have to adapt to suit your team and your organization.
Okay, thank you. Nice try, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else? So we'll go to the next question. Would you describe yourself to be a leader or a team player? So who's going? Would you describe yourself to be a leader or a team player? Jay.
Hi, Chinwe. Before we move forward, with this question, I'm a bit confused because I feel like it's saying, how do you prioritize your workload? Like what you do on a daily basis, like what do you prioritize? But I heard some speakers speak of it as a product, like how to prioritize your product backlog.
Backlog, yeah.
Others were speaking about it as how you prioritize your day. Like Chanel, I'd say Chanel gave a pretty good answer from what I understood. So I just want to clarify, are we taking it the product backlog road or the workload related? Please.
Okay, so for me, I would take VJ, right? Because he came with, he came with a story. However, in responding to this question, just like Chanel said, you can go through different angles. You can decide, okay, this is the angle I want to go through. I can talk about, okay, how I prioritize in terms of working with the team. You can talk about the entire task in general, so yeah. But for me, I'll go with VJ because I kind of feel like he's had a more robust response. I hope that helps.
I think I'm going to agree too. The question is a little bit confusing when it comes to workload, because the truth is the Scrum Master, sorry, the Scrum Master is actually not, it doesn't take ownership of the product backlog. So I see most people were trying to just use the product backlog, but we are not actually, we don't own the product backlog. It's the product owner that owns the product backlog. So we are not the one prioritizing, we're only coaching and teaching them how to prioritize the product backlog. So.
Okay.
But as Scrum Master, can help.
If you want to speak, can you raise your hands? So who wants to go? Who wants to respond?
I'll touch on it real quick. Let me load.
Okay. Okay.
This is just a response. I understand, the question may be confusing to some, but we also have to understand that's where the beauty comes in interviews. Every question you get is not going to be an easy question. Every question you get is not going to be a straightforward question. So just like Chanel said, asking your interviewers what they meant by the question or how they would like for you to direct the question, I think would help in more terms of how to answer the question. Because once again, how one person may perceive a question is not how the second person may perceive a question. So I just want us to be open-minded when it comes to that and not try to attack the question away too harshly, because at the end of the day, the way I see a question is not the way Chanel sees a question. The way Chanel sees a question is not the same way Chinwe sees a question. So let's try to be open-minded when it comes to that. So we're all here to practice on, on our Scrum interview. So let's just do that. All right, that's it.
Does anyone else have anything else, or can I go forward? Okay, so I know some names that have been speaking, but I think for this next question, I want to pick some people, please. Would you describe yourself to be a leader or a team player? So I'll pick on George Jumbo. Yes, we can.
Okay. So I thought that we wanted non-practical Scrum Masters to answer first.
Oh, you're working.
Scrum Master at the moment. I'm still trying to get into it. I'm a project manager, but from a project management perspective, I want to say this. Calling yourself a leader does not really matter on your deliverables. I believe as a team player, you need to be committed to ensuring the team succeed with all tasks, duties, and responsibilities on the project, and the willingness to help a team member who is in need. Commitment to making sure team members are well informed on any development related to the project. or the company's overall business. So I would consider myself at a point of being a good team player, not really, placing myself at that point as a leader. When I'm able to exude those qualities as a team player, then people that I work with can consider me as a good leader who leads the team for success. That's my own 2 cents.
Thank you, Yemi, for that response. Ramsey.
Okay. Yeah, as a Scrum Master, I see myself as both a team player and a leader. A team player in the sense that I work with my team, just like Yemi said, I got my team to build them to focus and commit and be transparent in what we're doing and help each team member out where they need help. That is by resolving impediment. And also as a leader, not necessarily someone who imposes myself and my will, but to serve the team, in a meaningful way to help the team grow and coach them. And in that way, I see myself as a leader and a servant leader at that.
Thank you for that response. So I need 2 more people to speak on this, then we'll go to the next question. Nonye, do you mind helping us out?
Okay, I'm gonna try. So I would consider myself both a team player as well as a leader. I am a team player because I work along with my team to make sure that we accomplish our goals towards the end of the sprint. I'm also a leader, being a Scrum Master for about 4 years. I have led my team into a more agile community. Yeah, okay.
Good try, good try, good try. So the last person I'm going to call is Patience. Guys, it's really nice to try,
Both a servant leader and a team player. And I feel like being a servant leader and a team player, they're almost the same thing because I do possess the skills to help, to listen, to communicate, respect, be a problem solver, and to celebrate my team's success. So I see myself to be both a servant leader and a team player.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. So let's just go to the next question because we have a series of questions. What do you do with an underperforming team member? What do you do with an underperforming team member? Emeka, do you want to go?
So before, just jumping into it, been 3 months training, and I guess I'm preparing for interview. Okay, thank you for the interview question. I've faced a similar situation where I had one of my team members were underperforming. I scheduled a call with them separately from the team. I got to the root cause of why they were underperforming. This individual was not only lacking the motivation, but was lacking the understanding of the sprint goal. What I did is that I paired this individual with another team member that was highly skilled, and I paired them together. He trained with this one individual, and everything started going very well. He was very timid in the beginning to really come out and ask questions. So he was very, very shy and also prideful. So he didn't really want to feel like he was embarrassed to the team that he, withheld this information. He wanted to feel like he wanted everyone to see that he was competent enough to meet the goal. And yeah, that's it. That's my answer.
Thank you. That was nice. You used the staff format, and that's good. So let me pick on one more person so we can go to the next question.
You have a good.
Sorry?
Very much, team. The question is, what do you do with an underperforming team member?
Yes.
So I do believe that my understanding about underperforming team member is either they're not aware about what their roles and responsibility are and don't have clarity on what they need to do, or they're going through some ups and downs in life, personal life, that is actually affecting their work. I do have a very good experience of one of a team member that was underperforming. And sometimes it also comes up with not having the right skill sets. So I was working with a team where we had our resources on the project, and along the way, during the period of the project, the project was more of an infrastructure build kind of project, but this particular resources didn't. And in that project, they require someone that in his role to know how to do a lot of PowerShell scripting, coding. So he found himself in a technical team that has way more knowledge in the aspect of the coding. So it came out to be underperforming because when they were giving us feedbacks on how our performances and how we were collaborating, he was underperforming. So what I did was I had to call him on the side and ask him, hey, why do you think that, the feedback on the condition of satisfaction, your performances are not coming out pretty good? He was able to open up to me to tell me that when he took upon this role, that he anticipated to have a role where he's going to be, providing services based on his areas of expertise, and his expertise is more into infrastructure, but not coding and scripting and the rest. So by having that conversation with him, I came to understand that he was struggling, and part of it was going to affect him. So by doing that, I was able to get that clue. So I went back to the leader in the project to explain to them that I didn't tell the customer that, oh, we don't have a skill set, but I was able to make them understand that he doesn't have the bandwidth to take upon that. So when a team member is underperforming, all you can do is to have that one-on-one, empathize with them, utilize your emotional intelligence to understand where you can help him improve his performance. So that's what I can say.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. Let me just take one more person and for this question. Uba Ahmed, you just spoke, right? Did you mind raising your hand down?
Yeah, I'll raise it.
Yeah, so that I don't mix it up. Yemi, you want to go?
Oh, yeah. So what I think the best way to handle a underperforming team member is, first of all, you recognize what the problem is. Then secondly, you conduct a meeting, like in facilitating a meeting with a team member, and ask questions to establish the cause of the problem. Then you also reiterate the job expectation, what is expected of the particular team member that is underperforming. And the next thing is for you to manage the employee's expectations, and also you need to develop an action plan together with him, giving room for improvement. Then also you need to ensure regular checks in and follow up on the team member, recognizing the little progresses he makes and encouraging him to do better.
Thank you for that response. Thank you. Innocent, you want to go next?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. On this particular question, I will just say it from my experience from one of my previous project. I have a team member who is a full stack technical expert, and he was having a problem. He was underperforming on the particular project, and I have to do a root cause analysis, looking at what the stakeholder wanted. They want the back end to be built with a particular a programming language, which most times we don't really, my team has not really worked on for a long time. And because of their legacy system, they just wanted something that can communicate with their legacy system, and they wanted that programming language in particular. And my team lead said he has technical expertise, and now he's underperforming. So I have to conduct a one-on-one with him, taking cognizance of his skills and his professionalism. And I ask why we're having this setback and this delay. After a meeting with him, I got to discover that for long, he hasn't really used this programming language to design back end, and he must have forgotten some of the syntax of that language. And then I don't have any other technical expert on my team with that set skills. So I have to reach out to other teams, and then we're able to get someone who is still very fluent in that programming language, and then we're able to do a kind of a peer review and a transfer of knowledge with him, and then we're able to resolve that issue, and the guy, come up with speed, and we completed the project, and everything was fine.
Okay, thank you for that feedback. So guys, thank you very much. My time is out. I want to appreciate everyone for giving their feedback and also for giving me the opportunity to facilitate. So I would hand over to Angela now.
Easy. How do you approach conflict between teams? If anyone wants to go. It looks like Yemi. Yemi, you can go ahead and answer.
The best approach, I feel, the best bet, the best way to handle conflict between the team is, first of all, you facilitate a meeting, talk with the affected employees or affected team members. Secondly, you focus on behavior, event, and not really on personality. And you need to know why the conflict between the team members. And while doing that, you need to listen carefully, identifying point of agreement and disagreement between the conflicting parties. Then you prioritize the area of conflict, develop a plan to work on each conflict, and follow up through on your plan, and build a success within the team, within the conflicting team members.
That was actually a good answer, because that's probably something that's probably the same kind of answer that I would give also. Ramsey, go ahead.
Okay. So in dealing with conflict, how I get to resolve the conflict has always been first identifying the source of the conflict, and the people involved in the conflict. So, and then meet up. If it's like two team members, I will identify the source, meet up with the two members separately. Then I will encourage them to also work it out themselves, to basically what Justin said, move from their, disagreement to see where they can work well together. And then I will just get a feedback from them. So basically, that is how I work with resolve conflict, involving the parties, identifying the source, and involving the parties, encouraging them to sort it out.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You're welcome.
All right.
Yeah,
If no one else.
let me take a stab on that.
Okay, go ahead, Chi.
Some conflicts are healthy, because when you resolve them, it helps you take care of such issues in future. So I try to have one-on-one meetings with the parties involved, and I try to listen to what has been said and what has not been said, and I try to, as a true servant leader, resolve the issues. And um, if we need to bring in someone from management, would make sure I have tried all I can. I would have exhausted all resources within me before I'll be able to do that. Yes, so that's my 2 cents.
All right, thank you. Innocent.
Okay. Resolving, approaching team conflict. First of all, I have to make sure I ascertain the level of formation of my team. The way I will resolve it, a forming or a storming stage team will differ from the way I will resolve a performing stage team. Having in mind that we have a team agreement, and most times we approach our conflict resolution in our team agreement. And looking at conflict resolution from a performance team perspective, I will have to call on both team members that are involved in it and coach them on teamwork, team management, and let them know that individual personality has to take the back stage, and then the team goal have to be what is prioritized here, and they have to work as a team. So whatever conflict or whatever issue that is between them, I think as a team, if it doesn't work towards the goal of the team, that thing should be thrown out in the back door. All as a team member, we have to work together. We have to embrace the team personality rather than individual personality. And then we have to be able to self-manage and self-organize ourselves to be able to work together to achieve the team goal. And then also bringing that in mind, the cause and the actual problem of that conflict, if it's not addressed in the team agreement, then we can adopt that on the retro and make it part of the team agreement so that we can stop the future occurrence of that conflict. That's how we go about it. Thank you.
Good answer. I was also gonna say, I think with interviewers, they kind of like this question because they like to know how you would handle your team in terms of conflict. I think emphasizing focus and bringing everything back to the drawing board is very important because when people do things repetitively or they kind of have the same cycle, they tend to lose focus of what they're there for or what they're actually, what the end goal is. So making sure that you emphasize on being focused as a team and emphasizing what either, the team motto is or the company motto or things of that sort is. Femi, last person for this question. What did you want to say?
Hi, thank you very much for that question. Yes, I do. I've had cases where we had conflict between teams. There was a time which I was managing 2 teams, and the teams, they were using the CI/CD pipeline, and they had lots of dependencies between them. So we had some story points that had to be completed by one team and then move to the other team to complete. But then we started having cases of when of bugs and technical debt coming back, and this kind of created a conflict between the 2 teams because team A says they worked on this code and everything was fine before they moved it to team B. So why do they have to be the one working? Like everything was fine before the code moved to the other teams to work on. But now there's a bug that was identified in the code after they released, and now they have to go back and start working on bugs. So what we did was we found out that we couldn't really track exactly where things were broken. So what we did was to find a way to track from every test where, so if the code passes the test before it leaves your desk, then everything was working before it leaves. So whenever we get the bugs back, whoever broke it decides, we had a team agreement that whoever breaks a code is the one that is going to fix the bugs that was realized, and that was how we kind of worked around that issue. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Innocent. Moving on to the next question. Next question states, how do you encourage concept and practice of self-organizing teams? How do you encourage concept and practice of self-organizing teams? Anyone can go. No one? All right, Grace, go ahead.
Okay, so how do I promote self-organizations for my teams? Okay, so one thing that I noticed that works with self-organizing the teams and also helping them become self-managed is, like, for instance, during our backlog refinement, right? So instead of me taking over that meeting and being the one sharing our board, I would encourage one of the team members to do that, right? And so you can do it in a way that maybe every backlog refinement meeting we rotate, right? So someone else will take over. And you can also do that for the daily stand-up as well, right? So instead of the Scrum Master being the one asking the questions and leading the meeting, we can do it in a way that the entire team gets to do that at some point. So that is something that's really helped. And you also notice that even maybe as a Scrum Master, if I am away or I'm out of office, right? That means that the meeting will still be able to hold because they've already practiced it. So that is one thing that has helped with helping my team become more self-organizing and more self-managed.
Great answer, Grace. Femi, go ahead.
What I do is I make sure, like, most decision, I make sure it's a collective decision that is being made by the team. I try to limit, as much as I facilitate the meeting, I try to limit my appearance and make sure, like, the meeting is being facilitated by the team members. And just generally, I make sure there's a sense of ownership within the team members to the project itself. So I do this by making sure they're involved in every step of the project, from the backlog refinements to the grooming, and also understanding the product goal and the value which we're trying to deliver from the project. So this is how I kind of get the teams to take ownership of the project and self-organize around making sure the project works.
Thank you, Femi. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the last question before I head over to the other slide. Last question is, how do you protect your team when additional backlog items, stakeholder requests, and/or proposed extension of sprints are being requested? How do you protect your team when additional backlog items, stakeholder requests, and/or proposed extension of sprints are being requested? Anyone want to go take a shot for it? At this point, you don't even need to raise your hand. You can just talk. Since nobody's talking.
That's what I thought too, Grace. I thought it was a very important question, but nobody wants to try to answer.
It is, and I actually have it as one of my scenario questions.
Okay.
So
You want to
have
take a shot for it?
Say that again?
Want to take a shot for it? You can go ahead and try. There's no one answer.
I would like for someone that is trying to become a Scrum Master to try that question.
Okay.
Yeah, like Uba Med, I see your hands are up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a stab at it. No one laugh at me, okay? This is my first time answering this kind of question. I mean, although I'm lying, but thank you for this. Thank you for this question. As for, I go about this situation by analyzing the work that's coming, the new work that's coming in while sprint is going in my team. We come together and figure out if the work that's coming in is of higher value, and then we bring it in. And what we do is we do a trade-off to we trade off, we take the new work, we reanalyze as a team. I'm trying here. So, okay, well, I kind of bombed this, but okay. I'm just reading my notes here. Okay. Or I encourage as a Scrum Master, I encourage my team members to plan for 80% work and have set aside 20% buffer time. And if the work can be completed in the 20% buffer time, we take in the work. If it's something that cannot be completed in that time frame, we put that back into the backlog and roll it over to the next sprint, and I guess rework it. That's it. That's my try.
That was a good try, honestly. I was also gonna say quickly before I call on Ramsey and Innocent, if any of the working Scrum Masters want to go ahead and give feedback, that would be great. I personally don't feel comfortable giving too much feedback because I am not a working Scrum Master, so I don't want to tell you what you said is right if it's not correct. So if anybody who's actually working as a Scrum Master wants to give feedback to anyone answering these questions, that would be great also. Ramsey, you're next. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Angela. So this is what I do as a Scrum Master to shield my team from unnecessary work. I will call it work overload by the stakeholder or the project manager or even the PO. So this is how I look at it. The goal of the sprint is already set, and the team already commit to what they can deliver at the end of the sprint. In Agile is time boxed. We cannot extend the sprint, so that is known. That has to be communicated very well to the stakeholders. That in Agile, so everything is time boxed. If there is additional work, we will evaluate, look at with the product owner, basically, which I will refer the stakeholders to speak with the product owner regarding that, and the value of that work tax, whatever it is, will be evaluated, and then discuss with the team if they have additional time to inject that into the sprint. If no time, then there will be a way of working out with the product owner to maybe put that in the next sprint, make that a top priority for next sprint. And that could be what would likely be the possibility, I think, because once a team is committed to the task they could perform during the sprint, my job also as a Scrum Master would be to shield them against an inject. So that is why I would have them discuss with product owner and possibly put that in the next sprint, or put that as a backlog item, maybe in the top priority to be considered in the next sprint.
Thank you, Ramsey.
You're welcome.
Innocent,
Yeah, innocent. And I guess that'll be the last one for this question. Then we can move on to the next slide. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for having me. In protecting my team, uh, what I will do as a Scrum Master, I will be proactive. Firstly, I will make sure during the sprint planning, my team should commit 80% of the sprint velocity, and that's what they should commit to 80% so that they can give room for a scope creep or unforeseen circumstances, if I will put it that way. And also, I'll have to coach my PO on the issue of scope creep and the effects of scope creep in our sprint goal. If we keep accepting stories at the middle of the spring, is going to detour the spring goal and the spring objective. The third one, I have to create an conducive environment for my team so that they can work freely and without having fear of external people, barging into them, trying to get, them do work outside the work they have committed to do. And also, I have to negotiate some stories with my product owner. If he have to introduce some stories in the middle of the sprint, and he said that it's of a high priority. So we have to look at the sprint backlog and see what we can negotiate with, what story we can take out, and then how we can prioritize the new story that is coming into the sprint backlog. And then as well as also looking at the time frame and the sprint goal and see how it's going to affect our sprint goal. So all this is what I'll put in mind, and I will have to coach my team and coach my PO on before in order to protect my team to be able to achieve their sprint goal, their sprint objective at the end of each sprint, and produce an increment. Thank you.
Thank you, Innocent. Does anyone have any feedback for him? All right.
I was gonna type my feedback to Innocent. Innocent, in my opinion, you're answering your questions very well, but I want you to personalize them. I will, instead of saying that I will do this with the PO, say that in my previous organization, with my experience, while working with the product owners that I've worked with, this is how I did this. Personalize it like this is your experience. It's not like you're guessing. Personalize it. Don't say I will, because you're answering it well. Just personalize it, because it sounds more real that this is what you've actually encountered while working as a Scrum Master, because your resume has said you have the experience. So you want to personalize all your answers, that those are scenarios that you're encountering or you have already encountered or you're faced. Those are the problems you're facing and how you resolved it. But you're answering your questions very well. I just need you to personalize it.
Thank you, Louis. That's true.
Thank you very much.
All right. So now we're gonna go into tips on, your interview. You can go ahead. So questions not to ask during your interview. This may seem pretty basic and pretty common sense to some people, but it's not. Common sense is not as common as we think sometimes. So the first one is, do not ask anything regarding benefits, bonuses, or salary. And once again, you would think that's something people wouldn't do, but people do. And that could easily turn off the interviewers and want them not to continue. Next one is, do not ask anything regarding flex hours or flex time or telecommuting. Those are questions. That's a question that you should probably ask once you've gotten past how many levels of interview stage is that you need in order to get the position. And then another one is do not ask about tuition reimbursement or training. They're here to hire you for your position and what you can come to offer them. So they're not ready. They are expecting you to know from your interview what they needed for that job already. So last one is do not ask anything regarding vacation time or sick time. Once again, it's just like another turn off when it comes to interviews. Next. Or is there anything else that any Scrum Masters would say that you shouldn't ask during interviews that would make the interviewers not want to continue? Anyone who's had an interview before? No, great. Continue, Chinwe. All right, so the 3K rule, know yourself, know the company, and know the job. The know yourself is pretty self-explanatory. Literally know yourself, be able to back your resume up, be able to back your LinkedIn up. Even though it's on your resume and it's on your LinkedIn and they can see it, if they ask you a question about it, you need to be able to know how to answer that question properly, or it will seem kind of sketchy. So know yourself, be able to, and also be yourself. Know yourself, but also be yourself. You may go into an interview not saying every single thing that they want to hear, but because of how open you are, how confident you were, how vocal you were about everything, it will make them want to hire you. So let that be known. Also, knowing the company. Google is free. Have you visited the company's website before you even say, I want to go and apply for the job? Have you visited the company's website? Have you read the recent press releases? Have you, who are their competitors? What's the size of like their IT organization? Things of that sort. That could also help you in a stepping stone when it comes to your interviews, because it'll let them know that you're actually interested and this wasn't just a job that you saw on Indeed or LinkedIn and you said, okay, let me go and apply. Or show them that you actually care. Also, know the job. So especially as a Scrum Master, know the job that you're applying for. Have you reviewed the job requirements? Have you did you see why, have you been able to research why that position may be open? What's your leadership style? What will be the biggest challenge in this role? So because I know a lot of people, they'll apply for jobs not knowing what the job may entail because you didn't even look at the job requirements before you applied. So every job is not going to have the same job requirements when it comes to Scrum Masters. Every company is different, every organization is different. So that's the 3Ks. Know yourself. Most importantly, know the company you're going to go work for, because you never know. What if it's a company that is completely against what you believe in? You never know. And also know the job. What are like the top 3 performance objectives in the role and stuff like that. That could also help. Let me see. Sorry, I don't want to mess up your names, but you're raising your hand, so I'm just gonna let you speak. Go ahead.
All right. So a quick question to what you just said. Know yourself, read the job description. With the day-to-day job market, most of this job description don't give more clarity on what the role is. Most of them are generic. So I do suggest that during the interview, and the first phase of the interview, and it's always good to, know how to communicate that in a confident way, in a very nice way. I do approach it this way during my interviews. If you bring the job description, I would say that I've actually taken my time to go through the job description, and I feel I still have a lot to know about this role. You could say sometimes these job descriptions could be generic, but now I'm here, I can use this opportunity to learn more. So it gives you the opportunity to ask that question back. If they ask you, do you know that, were you able to take your time to go through the job description? Because sometimes it could be generic, sometimes you could have the information in it, but in a nutshell, go through it and always ask that question and make them understand that that job description just gives a high level, but you'd like to know more. What kind of projects will I be working with? What's the team dynamic? And every other thing that is involved.
I
That's
agree
my feedback.
100%. That's actually really good. You should actually never leave a job interview without asking any type of question, because it'll make it seem like, you actually don't know what you came there for. So always ask questions. Even if you ask the most basic question, like, what will I do every day? Like, I mean, don't ask that. But if you want to ask the most basic question, you can. But just make sure you ask questions when you're leaving an interview. You never want to leave an interview without asking questions. And I agree with what he said. Like, a lot of these job descriptions nowadays are very generic. But once again, that's where Google comes into. Literally, you can research, you can find anything on the internet. So literally just typing in that company, the position, and whatever question you may have after it, that could work also. But I agree with him. Very good answer. Thank you. Chinwe, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sorry. I just want to add something real quick before we leave. It's okay to be confident, right? That so the recruiter needs to see the confidence and all of that. But there's also a thin line between being confident and being overconfident, right? So we need to watch out for that, especially maybe in the way we speak, the way we ask them questions, because you don't just want to give a kind of vibe to the recruiter to make them feel some type of way. So I just thought we should know that.
So what type of tip would you give to someone who tends to be overconfident with things that they do, even though they may not, they may come off as a know-all? What tip would you give them to
So
kind of
what I would say is be nice, right? Be nice. Just be chilled. When they're interviewing you, don't try to like want to argue or prove like this one thing. Just be nice. That's all I would say. I don't know how else to say, but just be nice in your approach. Even when you're asking questions, when you're responding, be nice.
Okay.
I think
I think it has to do with your
be
tone.
professional.
Oh, two people.
Just be professional.
And I actually wanted to add in some tips.
Okay, who's speaking?
Yeah, Chinwe was right. She said you have to be nice. You have to, when you're so from my experience about interviews, when you go on interviews, it's good to have confidence, and don't sell yourself less. Sell yourself, because what you sell is what they buy. And also, I was told in an interview, when you come to an interview, do my career process of trying to settle with something I know I was being advised by different people, by my close mentor, that when you go to the table, take everything on the table. Don't leave everything on the table. Be confident, sell yourself. During those interactions, ask those questions that could make them think, wow, this guy is smart. This guy is this. This guy is that. Bring up those questions that can be like, okay, that makes them think. So when you leave, they can always have something to fall back on. Oh, he asked me this kind of question, and that's very good. I couldn't even answer that question. And that kind of makes them intrigued.
Thank you. Innocent, was that you that was speaking earlier?
Yeah, it was me. I just wanted to also speak on the tone, the tone of your voice, you have to make it level. So it's not as if you're shouting over the interviewers.
Okay, that's a good tip.
And finally,
okay, I was also saying that you have to be professional.
Right.
As a professional, you know how to carry yourself, you know how to speak, your body posture must, present you that you're confident, but you are not cocky. You're smart, you are not trying to prove to them that you know it more than them. So it's just being professional, handle it in that way that any professional that is trained, that has a job training, will handle it. That is how you have to approach an interview.
Right.
And
Okay,
also,
Ramsey.
sorry, I want to
Oh,
stop.
Bessie,
I'm
1 second, 1 second. Ramsey had his
okay.
hand up. Let
Oh,
Ramsey
oh, my
answer
bad,
and
my
go
bad.
ahead. No, you're fine. Let him
Okay,
answer.
so I heard someone say go to the table and take everything. Yes, I could speak now. If someone is already a Scrum Master for Scrum Master for years could go to a table and try to get everything because you're already in the market, you know. But someone trying to break in could, try not to take everything in order to break in because you want to break in, and that maybe the opportunity you could, try to get what you can get. But the goal is to break in, not to take everything. If you're in the market already as a Scrum Master with experience, then you could try to take everything. I could recall my wife when she got the first job. Even the recruiter asked her, "You want more money?" She said no. you know, she said no. She got the job, but now like a lot of jobs are coming. She could now bid for whatever she wants.
I mean,
Yeah, but be careful. Yeah,
yeah, I was
but be
about to say, be
careful.
careful with that also.
Don't undersell yourself
Yeah.
because they know what a certain level of experience requires. So if you go and you're accepting something for someone that has just 2 years, for example, and your resume is saying 10 plus or 8 plus, then you're already throwing yourself under the bus. Because there's no way you have that level of experience and you take a ransom or you take a salary that is that low. So be careful. You want to make sure that you have done your research too and know the average rate that that particular group of experienced Scrum Masters out in the market right now or working Scrum Masters are taking. So just as how you don't want to also sound greedy or you want to sound like you're over asking, but at the same time you don't want to also undersell yourself too. So that's just an advice.
Thank you.
That's,
Obati, you can go real quick and
all right,
then
quick, quick,
you
quick,
soon.
yeah, real quick, and I'll get off the call. Thank you very much. So some things, some tips that I actually want to put is, like being something new to you. You understand? You're trying to get into being a Scrum Master or get into a position, and you don't have that experience. It kind of gives you your shot in the aspect of the kind of way you can be answering questions. What I can say is, as much as we forget when answering these questions, we should try to be very precise, give direct answer, make it short. The interviewers don't really enjoy the fact that they have to leave their job to come and interview you. So when you come in there, this is a common thing that when you don't know something that much, you tend to want to give more examples. You want to talk more about it. But we should try as much as possible to give a high level. And if they ask us, then we can go more details because they've, the workforce, they have very short endurance on trying to sit down to listen to you giving stories. So it has to be something that is interesting, precise, and short and direct.
Thank you, Obasi. All right. Femi, this would be probably like the last comment. Go ahead, say what you need to say.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate everyone's feedback. I just want to ask a question real quick because I've been doing interviews. I mean, a couple of interviews actually, and I always think the interview went well. We have a nice discussion. I'm able to like give them tips on what I'm doing and how they could improve their processes and stuff like that. Um, just that I don't get feedback from them. So my question is this: how much do you want to be reaching out back to the company if you think you really, if you think you actually had a nice shot, but you just didn't hear back from the recruiter?
Whenever you get these
Uh,
interviews, after the interviews, do you send like a thank you type of letter after to them?
After the interview?
Yeah, you don't send like a thank you for interviewing or
In most of those cases, it's been like through a recruiter.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, after the interview, I get back to the recruiter, and the recruiter says he's gonna get back from the company. I actually have two companies which I did interview with, and I mean, sometimes I still talk to the recruiter, and the recruiter is like, "Yeah, they haven't decided yet," or, I mean, it's been 2 weeks, and I just I thought I actually did well in those interviews, and I just didn't hear anything back.
I mean, you
So
know,
first thing,
oh,
raise our hands, please. First thing I will say is never don't feel defeated. That's for sure. You gotta get 100 no's, and it could be that one yes that could change everything for you, right? So never feel defeated. But I will say maybe one thing you could try doing is after your interviews, if possible, maybe you could get like the email of the people who interviewed you. And these are just tips that I've gotten from other, Scrum Masters. Reaching out and sending like a thank you email after shows that you were interested in the job, not reaching out like 2 weeks later and asking them, oh, so what's your decision? Basically. So kind of I would say don't reach out more than 2 times, but if anybody else has anything to say to that, you can. But don't feel defeated. Like I said, you could get 100 no's, and it could be that one yes that could change everything for you. So just keep going.
Yeah,
You had your hand up for some
yeah.
time. Go ahead.
Yeah, I could add to what the guy said. I mean, if you're looking at your interviews and you don't get feedbacks, at the end of the interview, try as much as possible to get feedback from the person you had and just be like, oh, since we're in a communication business, are there any questions that you asked me that you need me to clarify or answer properly before we get off? So it gives you a knowledge base of, even if you did 50%, you can tell that if he says yes, I need you to do this. If he says no, okay. If you don't hear from them, then maybe the job is not for you. So pretty much I kind of use that kind of tactics, and it kind of works out for me, and it gives me a way to analyze how I did at the end of the interview.
Thank you, Yusuf. That was actually great.
I do
Think what
agree.
your
I
hands
do
up.
agree. I do agree with what he just said right now. It gives you an opportunity. So to me personally, feedbacks during an interview can always help. A lot of people say it's not good to ask feedbacks, but it's all about how you ask that question. During an interview, you're interviewing them, they're interviewing you. Like to me personally, after during the time they put out, do you have any question? I always try to use that feedback as the last question that I ask. And how do I approach that question? And make sure that the environment is a more comfortable environment for the interviewer. They're all smiling, we're communicating. And I drop that question. Say, we've spoken to each other, we've learned a lot from each other, you know, moving to the next phase of the interview. What do you think I could do better?
All right, that's
What
good.
what do you think I could do better? And or you could also approach it, you've learned me, I've learned you. What are the common challenges that you see doing from what you've observed that I could face in this role? They like to communicate, and when you throw out that question, they'll definitely give you an answer. And also it also gives you an opportunity to know, are you going to the next phase of this interview? And the aspect of asking that question, having clarity, I always ask that question prior before the first question I ask is, you've asked me a lot of questions and I've provided you answer to the best of my ability. Is there any question that you felt that you want me to dive deep and give more clarity? If they say no, then we know we're on the same page.
All right, that's good. Chinwe, go ahead.
Thank you for that answer.
Okay, so thank you everybody for the responses. So all I want to say is this: in all of these things, practicing, trying to apply, the truth is one day you're going to get your job, right? So it doesn't matter the number of no's. See, your job is your job and it's out there waiting for you. And trust me, even the job you're going to get, the interview is going to be so chilled, like it would even stress you. You would even ask yourself, so why did I have to stress myself all these months trying to read, practice, and all of that? So I just want to encourage everybody, just keep trying, keep doing what you're doing, and that job is out there. Yours is yours. Nobody's definitely gonna take it from you.
Can I say one more thing real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. And pretty much when you're having your interviews, kind of record yourself to listen to yourself after you get done with the interview, so you can kind of see the part that you're not doing well, how you can communicate or explain things more. And when it comes to answering questions, don't go talking about terminologies that you can't speak to, because it's interviews are off of conversations. Okay, what did you do? And then the interviewer is asking you a question in regards to the answer. So if you're talking about CICD, SDLC, and you can't speak to it, don't even talk about it. So thank you.
That's good. Good feedback. Thank you. So that's where we're gonna end it for tonight because we're actually 18 minutes over time. But thank you everyone for tuning in and listening. I hope everyone learned something. But any other questions, we're always in the chat. So if you have anything else you want to ask, or if you need help, if you want like a panel to like do a fake interview with, I'm always here. I'm available all the time. But yeah, thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great night.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
It was been great.
And good luck to the guys that are having their interviews next whenever. No, just good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just by the way, where can we get the recording?
It should be, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm mistaken, Victoria, but it should be, once it's finished, editing or whatever they do, it should be posted onto the YouTube. Do you follow Agile Minds on YouTube? Or subscribe?
I guess. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna have to follow them right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of past videos that could help you on YouTube that Agile Minds has recorded previously from previous Wednesday sessions or Saturday sessions, either or.
Okay, thanks, girl. So it's just Agile Minds?
Yes, I literally the name of the
Okay. Okay, no, she sent it on the chat.
Yes, so the
Okay.
group chat too.
Yeah, so thank you. Have a good night.
No problem, me too. Good night, everyone.
So I'm building okay. Okay then. Okay.